All right. Warm-up's over, motherfuckers.
Konnichiwa. It is now time for Lizard Brains.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Who are you?
Me? I am Vince. You?
Hi, Vince. My name's Marcus.
Hey, dude, what's new?
Not a lot. But at the same time, new things happen to me every day, so that's sort of my norm.
Yeah.
So, you know, like we just talked about in the last recording.
That we totally didn't have to redo.
Yeah, that didn't get fucked up in any sort of way.
In the last recording that we totally didn't do, I kind of went on a tangent about how I wanted to play. I have this urge to stream again, and I was streaming New Vegas, and then we got onto the we almost didn't. We didn't because we didn't. This isn't the second time we're recording. Nope. Get onto the topic of how I really want to play Smash again, and I can feel it. I can feel the urge to play Smash now that Minecraft Steve is in the game.
Oh yeah, and I don't know. I feel like if you own a copy of Minecraft, you should just get Steve in Smash. You know.
If you own them on the Switch?
Yeah, wait. Is Minecraft on the Switch?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah. That makes even more sense than what I was talking about.
Yeah. Minecraft is one of those games that I've bought like 6 times.
Oh. Yeah, that's fair.
Actually, I think I got my PC version for free because somebody made their account with my email.
The fools.
And then I went to like log in. I was like, I don't know if I have an account set up with this email. And I went to go download or set up an account. I was like, you already have a thing here. And it was like, I should have wrote down the name, but the person who was using my account had a YouTube channel.
Oh.
And like with the same username and was uploading gameplay footage. And I don't think any of it was Minecraft, but like, I think I got a free Minecraft account out of it.
Nice.
But like, I have it for the 360. I have it for the PS4. I probably have it for something else somewhere that I forgot about. I may have bought it on PC at one point. Maybe that dude stole my account. I don't know. But yeah, yeah. I the thing is with. Do you know anything about the amiibos with Smash?
I know nothing. I'm so out of date with gaming technology these days. I didn't even know amiibos were still a thing.
Yeah, they're like little figures that I like them because it's physical DLC, but they don't really do much. So what they do is just kind of like you can put an amiibo on the gamepad thingy, and you can teach it how you fight, and then you can put it to fight other people. And there was people that had amiibo cockfights where you gambled your amiibo. So like if you had a rare one, like Ness for a really long time, I think even now it was really, really rare. If you had that amiibo, you would put it in the center, or you would pick Ness, you'd play Ness, and you'd put it in the middle, and then whoever lost, they had to destroy their amiibo.
Okay.
So the thing that bothers me about amiibos is if you buy one, I think you should, because they're like $15, I think, you should immediately unlock that character without having to buy the digital download for it.
Is that not how that works?
That's not, as far as I know, that's not how it works. You have to buy you can have that character on your machine, like as your Shadow Fighter guy, like your little saved amiibo, but you will not have him unlocked. Because I would rather buy the $15 amiibo than buy the digital thing, because then I have something.
Yeah,
now this could have changed. Item. Yeah, exactly. Because like the only Smash amiibo I have 2 of them. One is Ryu because I love Street Fighter, and the other one is the Inkling because I bought. And I don't even think it's a Smash amiibo. I think it's a Splatoon amiibo. All this to say, I found, and I'll put it on screen, I found a mock-up of Godzilla as a Smash fighter. And the title, when Steve was announced, it said Steve rocks the block, because he's mining blocks.
I get it.
The little announcement thing says Godzilla Raids Again. And I thought it was cool.
And that leads us to an excellent segue with the movie we just watched.
Yes.
My biggest question is...
Yes.
If Godzilla was in Smash, would he be to scale?
No.
Okay.
There's a couple characters that are way too big that, like Ridley, Samus's bad guy, there was a big thing like, you can't put Ridley in Smash, he's too big. And they put him in there, and he's just a larger character. Okay. I was thinking about what Godzilla's like attacks would be, and I'm thinking he would probably have like his atomic breath, but it would be on a charger. Like you'd have to wait. He would have 0 air recovery. His tail would probably be like a tilt attack, like a good like right A. I think his final smash would be his burning Godzilla form. He would just get bigger and become like a meltdown, which we'll get to that eventually because that's a movie. But yeah, I just think it's not going to happen. It'd be super tight if it did. Because then the skins would be super easy to make because you could just have a black and white one. And then you could have like you could have all the different suits. You could have a Mecha Godzilla skin. It'd be really tight. That
would be really tight. But that does bring us to very nicely to the movie that we just watched.
Yes.
So how many times have you seen this movie?
This was actually the first time I'd ever seen this one.
Really?
Yeah, this is one that I've never seen. There's a few of them that I haven't, and this was one of them. And I realized that when I was watching it going, I don't remember ever seeing this one. But I was weirdly nostalgic for it. Because growing up, I don't remember how exactly. I think my mom introduced me to Godzilla because the Godzilla vs. Mothra was on TV, and she was like, "You have to fucking watch this." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "I watched this when I was a kid," and I was like, "Okay." And I think that was my first one, but I remember my parents either got me for Christmas or my birthday a game for the GameCube, and I'll put a picture of it on screen. It's called Godzilla All Out Destruction or Melee. Destroy All Monsters Melee. That's what it's called.
Okay. I think I've seen that.
It's a super fun fighting game. It's a tournament fighter, but you pick a bunch of different Godzilla characters, and the whole story is about how this is going to be nothing to you, Marcus. I'm sorry. Yeah. How the aliens come down from the planet that has King Ghidorah, and they're like, "We will fight anybody of these Earthlings. Nom 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 nom. From the planet we are from, everything is numbered. The monster is 0. Like,
we'll fight all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, and like you fight on Monster Island. Like, it's a really fucking awesome game, and it's a big way that I got introduced to Godzilla. But when you start the game, you have 3 opponents, and you have 3 people to choose from, and it's Godzilla 2000. Like, I can picture the dude saying it. Or is it Godzilla 90s? I don't remember. It's maybe both Godzillas. Maybe it's like 2000 and 90s. Another person who's one of my favorites, Megalon, and then Anguirus, who is the antagonist. The monster antagonist of this film. And this is and like hearing the cry in the movie, I was like, holy shit. Like, I never like that hearing that cry from playing that game all those years ago was kind of this weird, like, oh shit. I remember this when I was a little boy. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead. What's up? No.
I was just gonna say the first thing I noticed that I liked about this movie was the sound design for the monsters was very good.
Yes.
Like, I would consider it superior to the original.
Really?
Yeah, I just liked the way they sounded better. It felt like monsters.
I don't think I said it in the last episode, but did I ever tell you how they made Godzilla's roar?
No, you never did.
It's an upright bass, and I don't know if they would put their fingers on the frets on the top of it, or if they would tune it a certain way. I'm not entirely sure, but they would strum the strings with a leather glove.
Interesting.
And then they fucked with the pitch. That's why, and this is going to be super cringe, and I'm sorry, but at the end of Godzilla's roar, when he's like, you know, like that noise?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it like, I was watching this again just now and hearing that, and I was like, oh, that absolutely just sounds like an instrument. Like, it doesn't sound like a synthesized thing. Like, if you hear it, you'd be like, that's definitely a string instrument. Yeah. Like, now knowing that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking out for that in the next film. But that's...
Yeah.
You know, that's next week's episode. Next 2 weeks episode.
Yeah, but I really liked Anguirus. Which we can get more into who Anguirus is and what happens with Anguirus, but like, the first 50 minutes of this film is great.
I mean, yes. This movie took some turns, I would say. It felt like a lot longer than it was, just based on how much was fucking happening at any given point.
It's only an hour and 20 minutes, but if you believe Google, it's like 4 hours.
Oh my god! Yeah,
you remember that?
So quick anecdote for the beautiful listeners. Fucking, when I first tried to watch this movie, the only version, like, I was having a difficulty finding it, and through whatever means I could, I ended up finding a version that said it was fucking, what was it, like 300 minutes long or something like that?
I'm trying to find the screenshot, because either you or I sent each other a screenshot.
Oh, yeah. I believe I sent it to you. And which means you have it, and you can put it on screen. But
yeah, I'm looking for it, because I'm trying to see. Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, but it was like a ridiculous amount of time, and when we do these episodes, I watch these movies, like, in the time before we record. Like, the only airtime between is like 10, 15 minutes, give or take, depending, like, just so I can grab something to eat and, like, shower or whatever, because I really enjoy these movies. That was a joke. So when I looked
Sorry, I was reading this thing. I didn't.
It's all good. Yeah, laugh at my jokes.
All
God.
Right.
But so when I was trying to research this movie, I would have to, like, I thought I'd have to spend 4 hours prior to recording just sitting and watching this movie. And that sounded really intimidating.
Well, that being said, did you watch the American version or the Japanese version?
I watched the Japanese version. And
okay, cool.
And I gotta say, the main difference is, in this one, they didn't subtitle any of the credits.
Yeah, I don't remember my version. Again, my version's all the way on the other side of the room. I'm using the Godzilla collection from like 2006.
I'm using the internet found version.
Yes. So I don't know what the differences are. I did watch the American version, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But did you like the film overall?
Oh my god, yes.
Without giving it a rating, I think if anything, this film, before we get out of before I do the write-up that I have written, down, and before we get into the spoiler talk, without giving it a numbered rating that we'll do at the end of the show, what did you like the movie?
I like this movie. So far, the first two Godzilla films are totally rewatchable. I would watch them again and would love to show them to other people.
I like this one. I think, like I said, the first 50 minutes are great. It does kind of drag to me after that.
Okay.
That being said, I am a sucker for any sort of practical effect, so I will watch it.
Valid. Very valid.
So, Episode 2, Godzilla Raids Again, in 1955, only 1 year after the genre-making film Gojira, Toho was back with the sequel, Godzilla Raids Again. Or, as it was known in Japan, and I'm gonna butcher this, Gojira no Ge... How would you say this word? Gyakusku? Gekatsuku?
Hold on, let me look at it. I'm gonna pause it here so I can look at the thing.
Because like GY is like gyoza.
Yeah.
So Gyakusku?
Gyakusku.
Gojira no Gyakusu, directed by Motoyoshi Oda, produced by Tomoyuki Tanaka, who is one of the head guys from the original movie, and written by Shigeki Hadaka. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Japan. Shingiru Kayama and Teiko Moruda. Probably said that wrong. The film, being the second in the Showa series, was originally met with negative perception and rushed production. So it was no surprise that the series would go on a bit of a hiatus after this picture. That being said, the film was released April 24th in 1955 and May 21st, 1959 in the US. The budget of a million yen, and making a whopping 170 million yen back in the day. When Godzilla Raids Again was brought to the States, it wasn't even a Godzilla movie. It was called Gigantus the Fire Monster, with all mentions of Gojira replaced with the new name. Everything else in the movie is the same roar, the same suit, just a different name, and some new stock footage. And I think it's about 10 minutes shorter.
What did they cut, I wonder?
It's more things talking about the atomic bomb, I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha.
When it was brought to America, it was constantly edited, so it was like, hey, remember that war crime we did? It didn't happen.
Could you be more specific? Different video.
This movie, despite its love or lack of, is quite important into the Godzilla series. It's the first enemy of our big lizard, Anguirus, an Ankylosaurus. If this movie does anything right, it's the sense of hopelessness, knowing for the first time that there is no way to defeat Godzilla, now that the only way to kill the monster has died. That's what I've written.
Rock
Those
on.
are kind of my quick thoughts to get you into the
mindset
of the film, even if you have not seen it. Again, we're about to spoil the movie, so you should go watch it if you have access to it, or if you don't care, just hang out for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what are you doing in this box? Hi. There's an episode going on currently. Before we get any deeper into the episode, I'd like to thank the Patreon quick. Because of the Patreon, we can do a bunch of fun stuff like this. We can start other shows. There's a link in the description of the Patreon if you'd like to give and see us get a little bit bigger, a little bit better, stronger, faster, harder. But there are some people that I have to thank before we go any further into the episode. We have to thank Noah, firstly. Thank you, Noah, for your contribution. After that, we have to thank Gage twice, not just once for the Patreon, but also for the Discord, where there's a link in the description for that as well. Join that, because we're always streaming or having a game night or talking or doing something in there. So thank you, Gage, once for Patreon and twice for the Discord. After that, we have to thank Jordan with a Y, who usually hosts our game night. So thank you, Jordan with a Y. And after that, we have to thank Danny. Thank you all so much, and I have to give a big shout out to Vigil Beats. There will be a link in the description below to his links, so you can check out all of his music. I believe it's BandLab is his site. Check out his BandLab, check out his Instagram, check out all of his stuff there. He's got a bunch of shit that all slaps, all smacks, it's all smoke and heaters. Check that shit out. Thank you for checking this out. We're gonna get back into the episode now. So yeah. Alright, bye. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. God. I think after this is spoiler talk now.
Spoilers now.
After Anguirus dies, this movie falls apart for me.
That's valid. It felt like they made an awesome monster flick, and then some official somewhere got involved and was like, oh, hey, we could use this for propaganda. Let's do that.
How do you think propaganda?
I mean, the capitalists are the good guys. The entire plan to save the city from Gojira is... but yeah, the capitalists were the good guys, and like the plan to save the city, which was successfully pulled off by the military, was thwarted by the incompetent and selfish fucking prisoners that had no names and no further plot other than to cause a major disaster to happen. And then again, the military, which, like, I don't understand the military structure in Japan at the time. I need to like look that up. Mm-hmm. But like the military are the heroes, and like it felt very propaganda-y.
I didn't take it as propaganda.
Yeah. Like
to be honest with you, I took it as you're not gonna make King of the Monsters again. You can't. Like, especially because Godzilla's dead at the end of that one, and this is another Godzilla that is somewhere out in the world. So I like this scene where the prisoners break out, because I think it was showing how I took this as the ignorance of America at the time, where Japan was like, hey, we're doing everything that we feel is right. And we're shutting everything down. It's almost fucking kind of COVID-y. We're shutting everything down. We're making sure everything works. We're making sure everything's good to go. And also that scene where they're like, we're blacking out the city You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Like that scene, like to think of that scene of like, we're shutting down the city, everybody go home, the power will be out so Godzilla does not come here. Like, I guess kind of seeing it from where you're saying, it's kind of like, hey, we did nothing wrong the whole time. But like, I like that idea that because of man and being arrogant and ignorant and stupid and flawed, you took all the precautions to make sure Godzilla didn't attack Osaka, and then all of a sudden, because of a few idiots, Osaka's being destroyed. Like, I liked that idea of it. With a lot of these movies, I don't, especially this one, because it's right after such a historic a political film, really. Like it's after that. I'm not looking at this one for high art. I'm looking for high art in the sense of the suit combat we could talk about later. Yes. But I'm really looking at this more towards like, where are we going in the series? That being said, I also know where the series goes from here.
True.
You know what I mean?
Not. Yeah.
Exactly. So I see where you're coming from. But I just don't know. I wasn't looking that deep into it, I guess.
And that's totally fair. Like, that's just the impression that I got. And like, a lot of that's to do with fucking at the point at which the prisoners turn up. It's like, of all the times to be transporting prisoners, like,
why is it in the middle of the night?
Yeah. Well, yeah. A, why is it in the middle of the night? B, why are you transporting prisoners when there's supposed to be a blackout? Like, with you, like, no headlights on. Just,
I didn't think of it like that. I mean, I get what you're saying. I just kind of thought it was like, this was going on beforehand.
Yeah, I guess it just felt very like, shit, we need an excuse. Prisoners getting transport. Fuck it, put in the script. We'll figure it out.
I'm 90% sure they didn't intend on making this movie.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I think
like I said, it felt like they had a different movie in mind, and then someone else with a lot more money was like, hey, if you write this in, we'll give you this money. And they were like, okay. And did that.
I mean, that being said, I think it's a fine movie.
Absolutely. No, like, don't get me wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it just felt propaganda-y.
Well, that's what happened with Saw 2. Or Saw 3. One of the Saw movies. They made the first Saw movie, and then they had a script for a second Saw movie, and I'm probably wrong when I say this, but I want to say it was written by a Swedish guy who, like, never saw the first Saw.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, this sounds like Saw, but, like, slightly different. So they bought the script from this dude and, like, changed the names and then made Saw 2.
Sounds about right.
And Saw 2 has, like, nothing to do with the first one. Like, it makes next to zero sense. But I could be the third one. I don't remember. I know it's one of the Saw movies.
I mean, to be fair, Saw just turns into a soap opera with mild torture porn.
Yeah, and that's not scary to me. Like the scene that, like I said in my write-up, if this movie does anything right, it's the impending doom feeling. When you see the dance hall clear out and you see all of Osaka kind of quiet, but there's tanks pulling up. Like, that feeling of like, oh god, it's happening again. Like Godzilla being the physical manifestation of nuclear annihilation. Nuclear annihilation. Like, because also you and I are watching these through the guise of two people who did not live through the Second World War, and everyone we knew that might have fought during World War II or lived during World War II is getting to the point where they're passing away.
Very true.
So we have that removed sense of what it was like to live in that time. So I try the best I can to put myself in those shoes and think to myself of, what would it feel like for a Japanese citizen to see these tanks, or to see, like, I doubt there was tanks rolling around the streets of Hiroshima after the nuke went off, but like to think, like, having that constantly in the back of your mind of like, grandma got vaporized.
Yeah.
And this could happen again. So I kind of try to see these early ones with that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, all art has context, and that's very important. But yeah, all art has context, and putting Godzilla in the context of, or I remember what I was going to say. Ha ha! Whereas in the previous film, it felt very avidly against nuclear weapons specifically, and like did a very good job of showing that. This one, like, changed that stance. Like, it starts off with sad zoologist.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back, and it starts.
I did like that he shows up.
Yeah, very briefly, and it's still very sad. But it starts off with him continuing that message of, hey, the hydrogen bomb is what caused this. Like, he legitimately says this to the leaders, and like, yeah, hydrogen bomb, bad. It caused this entire thing. And then later on in the film, after, I think it's after the city burns down already, someone else says, yeah, maybe we should use a hydrogen bomb.
I don't remember that.
It's after Osaka gets destroyed and our main female protagonist, one of only 1.5 female, like, women in this movie, she's watching the TV. It's right after Osaka gets destroyed. And the announcer is, like, at least in the subtitles that I read, the announcer is talking about the devastation of what's happened, and says, well, maybe, like, don't take this the wrong way, but maybe the hydrogen bomb is a good idea.
Huh. I don't remember that. I really don't.
Yeah, he also makes a bid, like, pleads to the world to understand, like, help us.
Wow.
We're going through some crazy devastation dealing with this Godzilla situation. We might be using the hydrogen bomb. So at least that's what I thought I read.
Well, that's the thing is, like, and this is the only problem I have with, like, foreign films is that I have to watch them so many times because there's so much going on that I'm trying to focus on the movie, read the subtitles, focus on the movie, read the subtitles, focus on the movie, read the subtitles.
Yeah.
And, like, I know Kobayashi is in this movie. The character's name is Kobayashi. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of okay with, as long as I'm watching these movies in Japanese, I'm going to learn one person's name, and that's it.
Fair. Unfortunately, I also learned Kobayashi's name. So next
so we're
time,
stuck.
Yes. Fuck. So next time we got to be able to, like, one of us learns one person's name, the other one learns someone else's name.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll get it.
Who did you learn from last one? Because all I remember is Serizawa.
Oh, I didn't learn anybody from the last one.
It's a learning curve.
I was not prepared for how many people was going to be in this. I do remember sad zoologist, archaeologist man. Mm-hmm. I remember Oppenheimer with the dubious American. The dubious American with the Geiger counter, and Oppenheimer with the oxygen destroyer.
That was Serizawa.
That was Serizawa. Okay.
Serizawa. He's brought up a couple times throughout the series. Okay. There is a movie. I'm not going to tell you which one, so I was not going to spoil it. There is a movie where you get to meet his great grandson. I think it is.
Okay. He reproduced, you say?
Yes. I don't know. I don't remember who the mom or the grandmom is, but
cool.
He's a relative of Serizawa that you'll meet later on.
Okay.
I forget what I was. I think the love plot of this movie is so whack.
So weird. It did not work with this one.
No, it kind of worked on the other one, but it was kind of forced. And this one, I just was like, why? I guess they did it because it was needed again. But, like, the whole, here's this chubby weird dude, Kobayashi, who's just like, you need to find a wife. And he's like, I don't know about that. And then, like, he at one point in the movie, he's like, I found a girl, but what do I buy girls? And I think it's his niece.
I don't know. That was a really bizarre part of this movie, was when everyone was calling him the bridegroom. And but, like, as far as I understood, the I am the hero character and the I'm the only female character, they were engaged and had been for a long time, because that's a thing that happens a lot in these movies, I'm learning.
I think that's a Japanese thing.
Is it?
I think so. I think it's very much like you stay engaged because I know with a lot of, I mean, and I could be wrong, I don't live there, and I'm just a fan of the culture, not a part of it. You live with your parents your whole life. Like, it's only a new thing that people, like, so say you live in a house and it's like you, your parents, their parents, and then you eventually have kids. When you go home, say you bring home a check from work, you give all of that money to the eldest member of the house and they distribute the money.
Huh.
Like, say what you want about Japan, they respect and value their elders like no other country. In America, it's like, yeah, grandma's old, put her in a fucking home and wait for her to die so we get her inheritance. Like, in Japan, it's like, hey, grandma's old and knows a bunch of shit and can teach us how to cook and survive. Like, maybe we should respect grandma.
But I would like to point out that their elders distribute the wealth. Our elders hoarded it all and gathered more wealth and money than any other group ever in the world history.
I'm never going to own a house.
I might inherit one.
Not to get sidetracked, but you're a little older than me, but my generation... No, I think you and I are part of the same generation. I just made it.
I'm an elder, you're a younger millennial.
Yeah. Every time I look up where the cutoff for millennials are, some say 96 is the last year, and then some say Gen Z is 96 is the first year. And then some say it's like 97 is the last year, some say 98 is the first year, so it's like I'm in this weird... I don't know what the fuck I am. The point I'm getting at is, our generation, the only way we're probably going to get any sort of land is if we inherit it.
Yeah.
Or we abuse people that are under us. That being said, Japan.
Yes, back to...
There's a great video by, I think his name is Paolo from Tokyo on YouTube, that he does these videos about living in Japan. Mm-hmm. And I think he's a Filipino dude who moved to Japan, just to give context.
Cool.
And he shows this one, he has a video of like what a new mom is, what's it like being a mom in Japan, and like what's it like to move apartments in Japan. And he has one that it's like, what's it like to buy a house in Tokyo. And the house that he shows off is like a fucking almost $2 million home, because it's like right there in Tokyo. But also there's like a separate like a complete separate house for the grandparents.
Oh,
like
nice.
A traditional house with like the doors open, and like it's not like a modern westernized house. It's a traditional house.
Okay.
And then there's like a second wing to the house that is just a modernized home.
Cool.
And it's super, super interesting. So it's one of those, like, I appreciate how everything is kind of soaked in tradition, and you can see that with stuff like that. Like, to an American, you get engaged, you're married in like 2 years. You get divorced in 3. You know what I mean?
I mean, in my family, it's tradition that you don't get your wedding present until 3 weeks after the wedding.
Why is that?
Because historically, all the people I know who got married, if they made it, they made it past, like, if they didn't make it, it ended in the first 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
wow.
A startling number of my friends. And, like,
that's
family
cool.
friends going back a few generations. So
No shit.
No shit.
Cool. I like that shit. My grandmother, my grandmother's dad.
Okay.
Or it was either that or my grandfather. I don't remember which one. It might have been my grandfather. Wouldn't give the gift until after they ate, because he wanted to see how much he thought the plate was worth, and then would give an envelope full of cash. So, like, if you gave a shitty meal, he's like, all right, here, you don't get 100. Like, I don't know what the money was.
Here's your tip.
Because of inflation shit. What's that?
Here's your tip.
Yeah, like, all right, okay, you want to give us this slop? This is what you get. Like,
fair enough. All right. Respect, old man.
Yeah. But, like, it's just, I appreciate when they show shit like this, but I want to just kind of diverge from the Japanese version and talk about the American version real quick.
Yes.
It is not a Godzilla movie.
Oh.
Like, it's a Godzilla movie in everything but name. It's the same suit. It's the same actors. Everything is the same, except for they refer to Godzilla the entire time as Gigantus.
Oh.
And I think it's mainly because the first one didn't do so well in America.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
there's a bunch of fucking stupid little things about this movie that don't need, like the American version, that they should have cut out and they didn't. Like, you know that scene where he flies over the boat and drops the letter and he's like, here's to a good haul or something like that.
Like, he saved some for me. Yeah.
Something like that.
I wanted to bring that up because what a lucky fucking drop, dude.
Right? You're dropping that from a fucking plane. What are you, the Usain Bolt of dropping shit out of planes?
Like, he dropped it and was like, Kobe! And then it was like, why am I talking about beef? I don't understand. Sorry, food jokes.
You know, that's why his parents named him Kobe.
Oh, really? Because he was so tasty?
No, because they went to Japan before he was born and they fell in love with Kobe beef.
You know what? You could be lying. I believe you.
Look it up. It's a fucking factual fact.
Fair enough. Google that.
I'm not even a basketball man, and I'm not even a basketball person. The death of Kobe fucking got me a little messed up. Back on track. Hold on. Can I help you, madam? Yeah, so like the whole, like there's other things where it's like the US gives aid to Japan. It's like, no, we didn't.
Actually,
and there's like a bunch of other, like they have like these newspaper reels that just show up and like do that spinny 50s thing. And like
the spinning fucking newspapers.
Yeah.
One of the most annoying things about watching the version I watched, they didn't subtitle the newspapers.
Oh, the newspapers are in your version.
Yeah, well, they're in Japanese.
Okay, no, there are English newspapers in the American version.
Well, that stands to reason.
Yeah, like, and it's like, but like they left in parts that didn't need to be left in. Like when they go to that bar and they hang out, that is entirely too long.
Oh my god, so fucking, and like, didn't Super make a ton of sense? Like,
yeah.
Like, I actually, I know exactly why they did that. I know 100% why they did that. 'Cause, once again, I knew as soon as Kobayashi was on screen, like, he was gonna die or our main hero dude was gonna die. And as soon as they went to that restaurant, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's dead.
Yeah.
Like, he's a dead man walking. They're trying to make us like him. We're giving him backstory and shit. Rest in peace, Kobayashi.
But at least he did the most like honorable like thing. I mean, for the culture that he could have done.
Yeah. No, he went out fighting.
Yeah.
It like that could have been. Again, maybe this is just because I live. Like I'm 60 years prior or after this movie and I've seen a lot of movies, but it felt very telegraphed. And also he was a great character. He was my favorite character of this movie.
Was he the General Clinton of this movie?
He was not the General Clinton of this movie.
Okay.
In my opinion, the General Clinton of this movie was, I wish I could remember the motherfucker's name. He was the guy that our main hero dude, I don't know why I keep putting my hand up like this to indicate main hero dude. When they were first bombing Gojira, or sorry, the fire lizard, Gigantus. When they were first bombing Gigantus, our hero was sharing a plane with him because everything that dude said was at full fucking volume.
Okay.
And like he said it from the chest, like from his gut. And like that's if ever there was General Clinton material, it's that motherfucker.
Okay.
Like the slick back hair, it was so good.
Yeah, the American version exists and it's out there. I just wanted to bring it up.
Fair enough.
It's not. They like again. They cut shit out. I think it's 10 minutes shorter. They cut shit out, but then added. Like I like how they show Godzilla attacking from the first movie.
Yeah, that was so good.
I like that part. I like how they show said geology man, and he's like, we can't kill him. We're fucked. Like we're done. The world is over. This is Godzilla's world, and we just live in it.
Yeah, I was hoping you could come up with a plan. I don't know, man. So wait, before we move on though, who do you think was the General Clinton of this film?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I was thinking the woman who's like the what are they called?
The Morse code.
The Morse code woman's dad, who like owns the company.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the rounder of the older Japanese gentlemen, or the one that has the hair slicked back super far?
We might be talking about the same guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are two. There's one that wears a leather jacket when the city's getting destroyed, and like has a full-on "hold me back" when his factory gets destroyed because like he's gonna fight Godzilla.
I think we're talking about the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we agree.
Yeah. Fair enough. I can see him being a General Clinton. I stand by my answer though.
I wanted to talk about the practical effects of this movie because I think if this movie it's another thing this movie does phenomenally. I really, really enjoy seeing. I really like the building destruction in this movie.
Okay.
I think it's one thing that the first one kind of lacks a bit.
I can see that.
Just to see Godzilla like literally stomp on buildings really gives you a sense of scale. Another thing that they do is they put the camera very, very low, which I really, really like, and that's just a monster movie thing, to make the monster seem bigger. When Godzilla walks out of the water and he fights on the shores of Osaka with Anguirus, when you can tell it's a puppet, you can tell it's a puppet, and it's fine because it's of the time. But when you see the two dudes in a suit going at it, like there's just something that triggers in my brain. Like I'm not like a Steven Seagal type of fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme watching. Like I don't like that shit. That action movies do nothing for me. But there's just something about like getting in a suit and trying to portray like the actor, and I hate that I can't fucking ever remember the dude's name, who played Godzilla would keep his arms closer to his chest to give him more of that T-Rex feel. And like, there's so much emotion and character in Godzilla just kind of like, boom, boom, taking those slow, staggering steps towards a city. Like like that, if I could go back in time and suit acting was still a thing, I would do everything in my power to become a suit actor. But now everything is CGI garbage. But like, just there's so much being said with how hulking he is in size. And when you see the tank shooting at Godzilla and you're like, that's not doing anything. He's 50 meters tall. He's the smallest Godzilla we've had so far. And he's gonna get fucking bigger. Like, and he's still a monster, and I love him. Like, it's just, there's like, I'm looking at all these figures I have here. Here's Godzilla from fucking 64. I love this man. I love this giant lizard man.
Fucking guy.
Yeah. Sorry. I get getting carried away. Like,
how dare you get excited for something, you son of a bitch.
It's just when it's good, it's fucking amazing. Also,
Agreed.
Godzilla shows up like 8 minutes in. Like, I think this is the quickest you ever see him show up.
Yeah, he's right fucking there.
And it's awesome when he shows up.
Yeah, it was...
Fuck.
It was a very... Like, I was very surprised to see him, like... he's like the third character introduced, or fourth character introduced. Sorry, no, I lied. He's the fifth character introduced. I remember because it's Hero Man, Kobayashi,
Woman 1, Woman 2.
Yes, Woman 1, Woman 2, who I think are supposed to be love interests for Hero Man and Kobayashi.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's Godzilla. And then it's
Anguirus.
Yeah, that is the order of appearance. And I love the shit out of that.
Yeah, it gets right to the point.
Yeah,
like the last time I watched it. What's up?
No, go ahead.
The last time I watched it, I actually watched it on 1.5 speed just to kind of like refresh my memory on what was going on, and like it was like 3-4 minutes, and Godzilla's already there. I'm like, God damn, this is faster than I remember. I was like, oh yeah, idiot, you're watching it on a sped up version. But like,
holy shit, he can do instant transmission. Where the fuck is Godzilla in Dragon Ball Z?
I real quick, while we're still on the topic of like giant suits and whatnot, I do really enjoy the breath effects. They don't do it as much as they do it in the first one. He lights Anguirus on fire, which is super fucking tight. And when he does it, it's the puppet with a hose in his mouth that just kind of sprays water, and then they just show him on fire. Again, another great effect that kind of can only be done with black and white.
Yeah.
And that again, like that in itself is a whole other art form, black and white. But that the fact that it's being done with, like, everybody thinks Godzilla's green. Godzilla's not green. He might have like a green tint or hue to him, but he's gray.
Sounds about right.
And I always thought it was to like represent ash. But a lot of people like will draw like even I have a drawing somewhere of Godzilla that I did back in the day, and I think he's green and like I think he's green. But like you think big lizard, you think green.
Yeah, I mean, you think lizard, you think green.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that's just how that fucking goes. Humans are simplistic like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the suit acting was so good in this one. I fully agree. Actually, something else, practical effect wise, that I really enjoyed that they improved upon. Like they did the miniature work.
Yes.
Like, again, you could still tell they were miniatures, but the level of detail on like the close-ups was really good. And more importantly, like when the planes crashed into the mountain.
The explosions are great.
Not just the explosions, but like the actual model that they crashed into buckled as if that model had weight to it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it looked like it hit something.
That's cool.
Yeah, like that was really like they thought of that. That was a detail they thought to include, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
Good shit. I really didn't notice that. Again, once the end of this movie comes around, I'm kind of like checking out.
That's fair. That's very fair. There is a plane that crashes earlier, I think, in the film, where that happens, where I first noticed it, and then like, fucking, there's a lot of things hitting and running into other things, and they did a good job of showing the impact and making it feel like it was much bigger than it was.
The first movie, the director was part of the Air Force for Japan, I'm pretty sure, and he didn't see any combat, but he said one of his favorite parts about filming the first one was the planes. Doing anything that was any, like, aircraft shot. It just, one of those things. Like, you spend enough time around something, you appreciate it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I can see if it's the same. I think let me read what I wrote. If he directed it again, I would think that's why there's more emphasis on planes. Because I don't think he wrote it. Let me see. It was produced by the same guy, Tanaka. I'm pretty sure Tanaka did the first. He was like the main guy for the first one. So he might have been like, hey, put some more planes in there. Again, I don't know. I'm making shit up. I want to talk about the ending quick before we kind of get to our final segment, our final thoughts and whatnot.
Before we get to the ending,
yes,
I would like to point out. I don't want to say it's my favorite detail, but it's something that I noticed that you could not get away with today. Right before the blackout scene that we were talking about earlier, like before they're introducing the dance, when they're establishing that this is a very well lit city.
Yes.
One of the signs is incredibly racist.
Is it? What? Oh!
The blackface sign for the smoke shop?
Yeah! I remember that!
Yeah, so I guess we should put a trigger warning if you're going to watch this. There's blackface that happens.
There's a Sambo character.
Yup.
Yeah, I remember that. I meant to fucking bring that up. I totally forgot.
It felt important to bring that up. I was not expecting it. And I saw it, and I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, wait, it was the 50s.
Yeah.
Fair.
It was Japan in the 50s.
It was Japan in the 50s.
Yeah.
Watch yourself, but fair enough.
But the ending.
Yes, the ending.
How do you feel about them encasing Godzilla in ice?
I think that's it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels very much like they put a Band-Aid over the fucking tomahawk wound. Like, what are you going to do? Like, are you just going to leave them there? Do they think that that's the solution to the problem? Because, like, yeah, Godzilla's encased in ice. What happens when when it melts? Like, what? Are you going to assume that everyone's going to want to just leave him there and, like, not bother him, not study him?
Well, I hate to ruin it for you, but there's 30-something of these movies, so...
Oh, wait a minute. You're telling me that this plan doesn't work?
It's not that it doesn't work, but the next one, if I remember correctly, and I think I've seen this one, or at least most of it, the next one in the series, it does pick up, like, right there.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, and that's not a huge spoiler, but, like...
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say that currently, because I haven't seen the next one, currently my headcanon is that Godzilla got frozen in ice currently, and then drifted to Metropolis, which is where we get the episode of the old 50s Superman cartoon where a dinosaur gets thawed out and Superman has to fight a dinosaur.
That's fucking... Okay.
Yeah, currently that's where my brain's at.
One of the best Godzilla matchups, and I'll fight anybody on this, is Godzilla versus Charles Barkley.
Oh my god.
It's a Nike commercial from the 90s of Charles Barkley fucking dunking on Godzilla. I will put the video on the video somewhere. It'll be below me somewhere, whichever way, down that way.
We'll link it.
So fucking cool.
We'll link it.
He's got shorts on and he's dunking. He's got goggles and he's like, "Fuck you, Charles Barkley." Oh, dude,
that's awesome.
Let me see if I can find the picture too. I'm gonna send it to you. There's a comic. Godzilla comics are fucking out there.
I believe that.
There's one where Godzilla's like doing a layup and it just says Godzilla got busy. Let me see if I can find it.
I mean, say what you will, and Godzilla vs. Charles Barkley sounds pretty good. But Godzilla vs. Bambi is also pretty good.
Yes. Wait, this is a fucking Groovy Godzilla album? What do you mean an album by Groovy Godzilla? This is music?
I mean, anything's music if you lower your standards.
You right.
I listen to folk punk, so...
Oh, it's a comic about Charles Barkley and Godzilla. Dude, Godzilla wearing some fucking Barkleys, dude? Oh my god. This is the tightest shit. I'm sending you this right now. Hold on,
yeah.
It'll be on screen.
Hell yeah. Man, NBA is wild.
What's that?
The NBA is wild. From the 90s. Like,
yeah.
You remember Shaq Fu?
Yes. I have a copy of it. I have a copy of Shaq for the SNES. I think I still have it. I don't think I got when I got rid of all my old consoles. I kept the Super Nintendo, Street Fighter 2, Super Mario World, maybe a couple other ones, and I think I kept Shaq Fu because there's someone out there who's trying to destroy every single copy of Shaq Fu for the SNES, and I was like, good, destroy them all. So when there's like 9 of them left, I'll have one, and I can be like, this is garbage and it's worth money and it's garbage. That being said,
fair. I guess I know what game you're streaming next.
No, it's bad. Dude, it's fucking bad. When I bought my Super Nintendo, I bought a lot. So it was like Super Nintendo 10 games, and they were all sports. There's Cliffhanger, Cage Fighter, like games that are notorious shit. And I just bought it because it was like $60 for a Super Nintendo. And it wasn't yellow. And that was a big thing, is Super Nintendos turned yellow because some of the batches of the plastic had a thing when it was exposed to oxygen for too long, they just turned yellow. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't want a yellow one. I didn't want my Simpson-ass Super Nintendo Chalmers. Like, I wanted a fucking gray one. So I fucking played Shaq Fu. You can't hit anybody. There are no hitboxes. And then they remade Shaq Fu. It's fucking, dude.
Shaq Fu for the Switch when?
I think it's on the Switch.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, okay. Shaq Fu for Shaq for Smash?
No, please not. I don't like Shaq. They put him in ice. I think it's a neat way to say that Godzilla is a force of nature. The only way to stop a force of nature is with nature itself. I like that.
Fair. And I did like it more than oxygen destruction. Because that's...
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the reason I liked it more than the oxygen destruction is at least they didn't have to make shit up. You know,
you're right.
And I understand this is a Godzilla movie about a giant fucking lizard destroying Osaka, but like, I don't know. That's just not how atoms work or molecules.
No, I hear you. I want to bring this up real quick because I forgot to bring it up at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Japan recently opened a Godzilla museum where you can zipline into Godzilla's fucking mouth.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it just opened. I'm supposed to, when does this come out? I think this comes out the 23rd? No, I'm sorry, this comes out the 21st. I was supposed to go to Japan on the 28th. I would have been there to be in the fucking museum. And the museum, I've been seeing it on Reddit. Because I follow the Godzilla subreddit. The people that are in Japan right now that follow are putting up the suits are there. Like the actual fucking suits are on display.
That's really cool. I would really like to see those suits in person.
Yes. The Godzilla Hotel in I think it's Tokyo. I think it is in Tokyo. They have, when you first walk in, it's to the entire lineage, but a lot of it is about the first one, from what I understand. I've never been there. Again, I was planning on staying a couple nights, but America we couldn't get our shit together.
Surprise.
And right in the lobby is the actual oxygen destroyer, which I think I said last episode. I'm not sure, but if you can find any of those pictures, I might put one up of just what the suits look like.
Yeah.
Dude, I know when I get there, I'm going to see that hotel and cry. Did I tell you what the hotel does?
No.
Oh, God. Okay, this is how fucking cool it is. There's a Godzilla room, right? And the Godzilla room has like an 8-foot statue of Godzilla in it. And it comes with a bag that said, like, I stood in the Godzilla room. It's like $400 a night, and it's fucking worth it. But I ain't spending that much money. And outside of the hotel, it's probably like a 150-foot tall hotel. That's about how tall Godzilla is. Maybe it's a little taller. Mm-hmm. But on top of the hotel, there's a place where you can eat, and Godzilla's fucking head is right there. I'm going to put a picture of this on screen. It's right the fuck there, and then there's a giant claw that's like reaching over the building, and I think it's every hour on the hour it plays his fucking theme song and his mouth lights up and smoke comes out of it and they do the roar. Imagine not fucking knowing that and being in Tokyo and walking down the street and all of a sudden you just hear and you're like, what the fuck is it's happening like,
oh man. Yeah, no, I have an anecdote like that at some point. I'll tell you about it at some point.
Tell me.
Oh, okay. So
do it.
I'm fucking gonna. So, all right. Give you the truncated version. When I was 13, I went to visit my family in Israel.
Okay.
And I went to see the Sinai caves. Shit. There's these
Mount Sinai?
No, not Mount Sinai. There's these. It's on the coast.
I know what you're talking about.
It's on the border between Israel and Lebanon.
Did you go for your bar mitzvah?
No. My bar mitzvah. I did a firewalk for my bar mitzvah.
What is that?
Where you walk on fire.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Way to become a man.
I mean, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But so anyway, we go to these tunnels that had been used for all kinds of sedition and like smuggling and like just natural caves and shit. And now
Dan Avidan made them.
Yes, he did with his teeth.
The Quran? No, Qumran.
Maybe.
There's also the Zed Kaddish, ZEDEKIAH apostrophe S cave. I just typed in Jewish caves. This is what came up. But go on.
Fair enough. So anyway, we went to, I was 13, it was my first time in Israel, and my aunt took me and my cousin to tour the caves, and we got to walk around. The Israeli military was there, and I was 13, I wasn't used to that yet, so I was a little bit on edge. Because they're everywhere. Yeah. And then the tour ends with a movie about in a cave that had, I imagine, previously been used to stockpile supplies or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's a movie about the history of the cave and how they were formed, what they were used for and shit. And me as a paranoid 13-year-old, I'm sitting in this cave entrance. There are soldiers everywhere. Because again, this is on the Lebanese border. So there is a border crossing there. There is military presence there. And like I'm losing my shit because like I feel very watched. And I'm like trying to calm down and like watch this film, and like they seal the door behind you, which made me really super fucking nervous. And like I just started learning about the Holocaust, and I'm watching this movie, and it ends with a super beautiful shot of the caves at sunset, and like there is sea mist hitting again, like the waves hitting the rocks, and sea mist happens. And as an added special effect, they lowered some mist into this cave. And my first fucking thought was that they were filling it with gas. And I freaked the fuck out. Oh my God. Started fucking crying. And like,
that's fucking, I mean, it's not funny, but like,
it's pretty fucking funny. Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just was not expecting it, and I was like, "Oh God, here it comes! This is cyanide gas. We're all gonna fucking die!" And I just started crying.
It's so fucking funny.
So, speaking of gas effects that you're not expecting, that's how I reacted.
What would you rate this movie?
Man. So, just to clarify, previous movie, 8 out of 10, hella good, few flaws, weird continuity issues. This one, I would give it a 7.5. Not as strong as the previous one, definitely very fucking strong, definitely rewatchable. I will say I did take at least 1 point off because the main hero is an asshole.
Okay.
I just did not like him at all. But he's also, like, totally forgettable. And I think that's, for the era, kind of important for the main heroes, I guess. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's, 7.5 out of 8, or out of 10. I number good.
I don't remember what I gave the last film. I want to say it was a 9 or an 8.5, like an 8.7.
I don't remember either. Hey, correct us in the comments.
Yes. But this one I'm going to give like a 6, like a solid 6. No 6.2, just 6. I was watching this movie going, like the first time going, this is fucking underrated. How come no one talks about Raids Again? And then Anguirus died, and I was like, this is why no one talks about Raids Again.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair.
The first 40 minutes of this fucking 80-minute movie is great. And then it's just like, oh, Kobayashi, he wants to get married, but he doesn't know how to talk to women.
See, that's not how the impression that I got.
Oh, I just thought he either that or he was just like asexual and just wanted to hang out with his niece. Not in a weird way.
Yeah, I thought the reason that they called him the groomsman,
always the bridesmaid, never the bride, like that.
Yeah, I thought they called him that because he was always thinking about getting married, but didn't have anyone in particular in mind. So like, he was constantly asking for advice and shit. But then there's that whole thing about his diary, and fuck that bitch for just stealing the motherfucker's diary.
Yeah.
Like, the dude dies, and she had already taken his private pictures out and was like, well, good thing I have these.
Been saving these for a rainy day.
Right?
Yeah, it's just... it's a decent movie that, like... I was watching a video about fan edits, and I kind of wanted to, like, fan edit this movie to, like, cut out most of the bullshit.
Okay.
And like, even if you were to do, like, a montage of them drinking in that party, because I don't feel like anything fucking pertinent was said in that party.
No, it was literally only to establish Kobayashi as a character you didn't want to die so they could kill him. Yeah.
Other than that, I liked the movie. I liked it. It's just, I watched it like 6 times, like I said. So 6-7 times. And 1 or 2 of those times was the fucking American version, which is just a different movie as far as I'm concerned.
Fair.
Other than that, much like Godzilla recedes back into the water until the next time he feels the need to destroy a city, this episode is coming to an end.
Yes.
I don't like that. We'll come up with a new one next week.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Currently don't have anything to plug. I do have a few projects in the works, but, you know, the problem with working on too many things is you don't really get many things done. But keep a lookout for shit I do in the future. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Do you have anything to plug, Vincent?
Well, first, thanks for watching. Please leave us a comment, like the video, share the video, show it to a friend, put it on the fucking Godzilla Reddit. You could do that if you want. I'd appreciate that. I might do it. Let's double post. This is just Lizard. This has been Lizard Brains, Ghoulman Entertainment Podcast. Thank you to the Patreons who help us make shows like this, who allow us to do stuff like this. I'm working on merch with Olive. We're going to put it on a Redbubble at some point. We've been planning for what feels like 3 months now to kind of go back and revamp our Redbubble so we can have a concise idea of what's on there. Because now we have multiple shows. Check out the entire channel if you like Fallout. There's a couple other things on there that aren't necessarily Fallout related, but, you know, we pal around. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Marcus, for joining me for another episode.
Thank you, Vincent, for having me on this episode.
No problem.
It's always a pleasure. I look forward to watching more giant lizard movies because, holy crap, why weren't these in my life before now?
The next one is the last black and white Godzilla film. It is... I think we should end every episode by announcing what the next movie is.
That is a good call.
I do like that.
Yes.
The next movie is King Kong vs. Godzilla, which is being remade, which is supposed to come out this year, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. But yeah, King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Nice.
It's being made by the Legendary Pictures that's been doing the American stuff. I rather like the American stuff, to be honest. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm very excited to figure out to watch all these movies and talk about them.
Me too.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and watch out for hydrogen bombs, kids.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
A Ghoulman Entertainment production.